Hey, I just had the most interesting occurrence with my camera. I learned that there are a number of things that it's capable of. Um, it was just me being me, and I don't know, maybe I'll share. We'll see. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Having some tea. It's been a good and proper long day, tell you that much. All right. I was thinking of jumping in right away, and I just might. I'm an Aries, so I move like a sniper, just get in and get the job done and get out, you know? I will be doing a reading, but I do want to talk about angel numbers and the ascension journey. I will be using anecdotes, examples that are in the realm of my own personal experience this lifetime. Hopefully you find this helpful. Hopefully it makes you feel a little bit more cohesive in your being. Angel numbers. A lot of people are talking about angel numbers. And if you identify yourself as being consciously aware that you are a spiritually evolving being, and you would consider or refer to yourself as being on the spiritual journey, then angel numbers may be important to you. I started seeing angel numbers, I would say maybe a year and a half ago. However, I will preface it by saying this. Each person's journey, each fractal expression of the divine will have its very unique experience. No two experiences are the same. There is no need. If that was the case, we wouldn't be here doing this video right now. I will preface this by saying, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. I was raised by a high priestess. I was not formally initiated. What I can say of our practice is that my great-grand who raised me, in addition to being Baptist, she also practiced traditional African spirituality to a degree. And so my childhood looked something like this. You go to Baptist church on Sunday. However, on Moon Day, that's when she would meet with her congregation, or I would say priestesses. There was, I believe, if my memory serves me right, there may have been 2 priests there, but it was mostly priestesses. I learned about being connected to the earth before it had any great meaning to me. I would see them in worship and practice, doing spiritual dances, barefooted on the ground. I sat with a group of people that prayed about us in this generation and all generations to come. I am from a lineage of people that do this. So I will be doing this. I do this. It's a part of my life purpose. So I saw a very dynamic way of being connected to nature. My great-grand was also a farmer. So she was very, 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 very much tied to the land. And I was able to also observe her relationships with others. And that's a huge part of why I operate from the space that I operate from. So I was brought up that way. I was indirectly initiated into a wide spectrum of art, nothing specific, nothing that I care to identify to a specific faith per se, but I learned how to manage my vibration from I was a child. I was taught how to pray. I was taught how to invoke and work with angelic forces before they had any meaning to me. I was raised to a certain standard. Yeah. The matriarch of my family was very much, you keep these clean. You keep them clean, or as clean as you can. And this is a signifier of what you do, the actions that you allow your hands, and the works that you put your hands to performing, the things that you use your hands to bring to fruition. It's a part of your overall cleanliness. Yes. So that was my upbringing. I also grew up with what I would consider a significant mainstream spiritual dogmatic template of seeing life. Many of us who have analyzed and psychoanalyzed the dynamics of how patriarchy and matriarchal energies have always seemed to be in this tug and war, this conflict. I learned a lot about my views concerning the sexes and relationship between the sexes. I wasn't necessarily I didn't pine necessarily after an outward showing of what my faith was, but I do know that whenever I would engage in certain activities, it was more so because I wanted to wow, crown chakra energy. Whew. And heart chakra energy. But I wanted to, sorry, I'm having a moment, but I wanted to, well, I feel I should take a moment. That's a bit wild. I wasn't too keenly beholden to any one denomination. I am from the Caribbean originally, and we have the most churches per square mile anywhere. So it's very hard for you to escape the religiosity of Caribbean life in my country. And even if your parents were heathens, you'll little behind be going to church. And that's just what it was. So the side that I just shared with you of my religious experience, it did play a role. However, I wouldn't consider myself being an active priestess until the point where I made the decision to start manifesting and showing up as this person in real life. My practice wasn't really anything on point, I wouldn't say. It lacked what I would consider one of the foundations of being a high priest is the word discipline. Yeah. discipline, discipline. You won't find any person who identifies with divine feminine and divine masculine energies lacking discipline. Ask anyone who has spoken about the North Node calling and the turning of the wheel, how palpable it is in your own real life. It's very real. Dark night of the soul. Oh, child, listen. The aches and pains in your body when you're experiencing ascension symptoms. I'm not saying that is something that's so uncomfortable for you to try to escape, but the embracing of it can be quite challenging. And many who identify as divine masculine, divine feminine, in the last, I would say since the pandemic, a lot of you may identify with the catalyst being some betrayal or the illumination of something that shifted your consciousness and threw you into this internal space, which was literally an experience of light and dark. So getting back on track, because I don't want to get off track too much, because Lord of mercy, I'm an Aries, remember? Numerology. Numerology for me became an important player a bit pre a tower moment. I did suffer a betrayal, and that catapulted me into a space. And though I have ascended beyond this space, I would rather sip tea with the devil than wish that on him. If anybody's if I'm talking to you and you identify with this, give me a signal, give me a ping that you know what I'm talking about. Real shit. Yeah. So I started seeing the numbers, and I started with the gateway. Many of us who are light workers, 1111, 1111, 1111, twin flame, divine path, starting a new journey. It's like literally going through it's energetic gates. I consider numerology and the manner in which it expands your consciousness as a mathematical system for communicating with the divine. When you begin to become interested enough in learning about numerology, the divine will open up pathways for you to go beyond initial understanding to expanding your consciousness, where numbers, first of all, the frequency increases when you learn to integrate or initialize the Isis buckle, for example, to stabilize your energy. The frequency becomes more, you are more settled, you're more aligned, you're more aligned with self, you're more present, and so it has more meaning. And so when these numbers show up, because you're so aligned and you're adopting the watcher, the eye of the watcher, you will start to learn confirmation, my eyes freezing up. You will start to learn about what the meaning of these things are to you based on where you were. It brings you closer to life, to you. And shared consciousness is a real thing. You just haven't been aware of it. The kind of consciousness that actually supersedes our technology. The technology of you is the greatest technology that you'll ever come across. The greatest ever, ever. And when you learn about that, which you are, and you learn to manipulate and move, you will manipulate and move through life a lot differently. Numbers change your perspective about mathematics. I was never one for maths, and I find myself getting into realms of subject matters that include mathematics. If you are a physicist or a mathematician, don't try and challenge me on anything, because you will win. But your interest in numbers increase, and you have a closer sense of connection to life, and the thoughts and feelings that are that floral bouquet of enlivening your life experience, they begin to mean more to you. You don't just show up at an intersection. You start to be very in tune that you see the 555 cab passing you. You'll see the 222, and you'll get messages from the divine, and the meaning of these numbers over time will also increase. This is not something to be forced. It's not something to be chased. It will happen when your container is ready to receive that energy. And I will say that you will need to be maintaining a certain vibration to have these experiences. What else can I tell you about it? Some examples of this occurrence gaining momentum. You will be in the shower, and you will all of a sudden start seeing specific codes popping up through barcode numbers. You will hear an announcer on the radio announcing something with a sequence of numbers, and you'll catch the numbers. You'll get up from rest, and you'll go to the washroom, and then as you come back, the minute you touch your phone, you look at the phone screen, 444, 333, 1414. If you have, what is that, an analog phone? Is that what it's called? I think it's analog. But if you have a phone that's programmed in Army time, which I think most phones are today, you will become aware of a song, and you just look down, and it's 11:11. It's 222. And where things like that happen, and there's so much more. It's not a destination for you to work towards, and I find that is a part of the consciousness that's required for spiritual evolution, is that you mustn't be tied to any one place for any particular reason. You must have the mind of a child. One of the greatest things that I would highlight about being an Aries is that childlike energy does come in real handy. And not to say that we suffer more than others, but people sure do try some shiesty shit with us. They do. And it is that child energy that has allowed many of us to successfully go through our death and rebirth experiences. Yeah, I feel like I've touched on enough. I think I will go into doing a reading. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Okay. That's it. I hope this message helped you find greater clarity on your journey. And if you've been feeling lonely or alone, may you feel so much more so held. Best. Bye.